Well. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Thanks for joining me again. I'm Todd Rains. We're here in Allen, Texas, and in my shop. And joining me for every second week, I come to you at 2:30 on Fridays. And so happy to be here, and I'm happy everybody's here. I see a bunch in the chat, so thanks for joining today. Um, Let me go through and just kind of see. So we had a few people. Ed up in Wisconsin. Good to have you here, Ed. Bill. Hawaii. Nice to have you here. Thank you. Must be see, it's 5-6 hours. So something like 8:30 in the morning. So well done. Mark from Florida. Thank you. And let's see. It's myself. Oh, Cindy's here. Thanks for joining, Cindy. Cindy's checking out the StreamYard. She's saying hi to Shelly too. So, Michael from Victoria, thank you for joining. Appreciate it. We got David Perez up in Portland. Good to have you here, David. And another Dave from New York. Well done. Paul Howard over in UK. Thanks for joining, Paul. Good to see you. I saw you on Pat Carroll's demo last weekend. And sorry, clicking around here. Stillwell, Kansas. Michael, good to have you here. Good to have so many people joining me today. Lee from my friend Lee from Alabama, Birmingham, and Oren. How you doing? Good to have you here. Ian Coates, I think over from the UK. Yep. Good to have you here again, Ian. Thank you for joining. Tom, Yuma, Arizona. What a weather shock. Back in Illinois from yeah, I'm sure that's a bit of a change. My in-laws a snowbird down in Yuma, so good to have you there. Sorry you're back in Illinois. Warren, Bentonville, Virginia. Well done. So there's a lot of people joining today. There's my friend Tony from San Antonio. Good to have you here, Tony. Say hi to Nikki. And Jorge, good to have you here. Coopertown, Tennessee. Well done. Michael Warren, good to have you here. Another Illinois guy. Steve, no, good to have you here. Good to see you as well, virtually, I guess. I'll make it up in my mind what you look like. I think we've met though. And Joe from South Carolina. So got a lot of good folks here today. Thanks for joining. I just like to acknowledge everybody and try and remember where people are from. So I do try and connect at least that way as we're going through. So as you can see behind me, we're going to be talking a little bit about robust tools, but that's not the only thing today. I'm going to do a bit of turning. I'm going to show you a little bit of what I've been working on. I've got planned for a what we call a PRD, or personal remote demo, coming up in a few weeks. So, but before we get there and before we get to this, what is next? So here is how you get a hold of me. If you ever need to, send me an email, and or my phone number is there too if you're in the States, or +1 on front of that. And yeah, love to hear from you. If you've got something you turned, share that with me. I like to post that stuff in my newsletters. If you got questions about tools, please see me. Can you guys see this? You can't. Oh, no, it's just out of frame. I had this little, forgot about this thing. It was hanging tool or something from there the other day. It's a little hook coming down. I got wires that are just out of frame, which is nice. So things are distracting my eyes. Sorry about that. So anyway, that's where to get me, and we'll be happy to have a conversation. My friend Cindy does a Tool Talk live stream similar to this every other Thursday from me. So we're bi-weekly. Every 2 weeks we do this. I do mine this week on Friday. She'll do hers next week on Thursday. And if I find my there it is. Yeah, Cindy's Tool Talk live stream, usually every 2 weeks on Thursdays. I believe it's 1 p.m. Central. So check that out. She's always got something good to say about tools and turning. So the other one coming up is this. is I didn't get quite a chance to get a full banner together for Lyle, but Live with Lyle is coming up. He's got an IRD or PRD, personal remote demo, called Preventing Catches, Wednesday, May 3rd. That's Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So figure that out in your time zone. Go to Lyle's website. I got it listed there, lylejamison.com. Find the remote IRD stuff. I didn't want to put the whole link up there. It was just way too long and stuff like that. So you can find it there, and I'm sure you've seen it in my newsletter if you're part of that. What else? Oh, that is about it there. Let me find something to look at here. I don't really have a lot in terms of pictures today. This is the overhead. I got some exposure problems. I really had a tough time, not really a tough time, but a busy week with running around, and so I didn't get a whole lot of chance to kind of set everything up here the way I'd like. So bear with me as we go through and fix a few things. Let's see. Can I find where is my? All right, I have to move a few windows. Things are just a little bit in my way. There we go. All right. Exposure. Let's take this down a notch or two. That's maybe a little bit better. That's still a little bright. Let's do it this way. There we go. That's better. All right. I think I had that setting. I had anyway. Shutter speed, f-stop, all that kind of stuff. Let's take a quick look at since we're talking about demos. Let's talk a little bit about what I'm only going to hint at what I'm doing here over the next and then in a few weeks. And I haven't posted the IRD yet. I've still got things working and thinking about it and stuff. Trying to get all the material together. So we will take a look at a few things and kind of hint at what I got planned. So if you have any comments or questions about it, I will answer as much as I kind of want to or can, I guess. Here is a little bowl I turned this last week. That's really creepy having me on top there. So it's a sycamore bowl. It's got this branch kind of going through it at the bottom there. It's kind of a nice shape. I had this turned about a week. Sorry, not a week. About a year ago. Initial turning on it. So I took it off the shelf. What a nice little slight OG here. It's a little bit dimension-wise from height to width. It's probably about equal. I don't even know. I haven't even measured it. Let's take a look because I don't know. Look at that. It's about 6, almost on the nose, 5 7/8. And height-wise, oh yeah, it's much shorter, 3.5. So it's a lot wider than tall. So I think from a proportion point of view, it's not too bad. I would have maybe preferred a little bit more curve through there, but I think it looks all right. So, but what we're looking at really, and what we want to kind of view is, whoops, wrong way, Todd. And I'm going to refocus this here in just a quick second to kind of take a look at what we're looking at in here. Move my mouse over. So down on the bottom there, you can see where that crack was. It's not something I normally look at doing, but I thought, well, let's try something, and so I filled that. But it's not maybe what you might think. So take a guess. Everybody wants a guess at that, and I will probably say no to almost everything you say. But have a guess at what I filled that with, and we'll have fun chasing that one down. So that is going to be a little bit of a topic in the IRD segue to a little bit of what we're going to do today and part of the IRD in a way. And I got to zoom back out a little bit. Sorry. Let me get my hand there. And that'll be about big enough. For this next piece, and I'll bring in on paper towel because it's going to kind of blend in a little bit too much. So here's a work in progress I've got going. And so it's a multi-axis form. I've still got the tenon on it, but you can see it's kind of offset quite a bit on different axes, different things. And I've got some texture that I've got, I guess, filled. with some stuff. And I've got, it is a little hollow form. I thought about maybe painting the inside. I hadn't yet, so I may still do that. And I've got some more texture up top here. So some of this is a little bit of how I did this we're going to look at today. Just some how to do sort of multi-point for offset turning and stuff like that. At least what I've done. It comes with a caution. Don't try this if you're not comfortable. All that kind of stuff. We'll get into that in a little bit. So that, look forward to a bit of this kind of turning and a little bit of this kind of stuff and what I did over in the other bowl for an upcoming RD I have planned. I think the 19th of May, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll have more details on that in the coming days. Let me put that away, and I will come back over there with my hands full of a few things. We're going to look at a few robust tools just to show some details, some information about them and stuff like that. And let's talk about that. Let me check the comments. I don't see any of the comments at this point. Nobody's taken a guess at what was in that crack. It's confounding to me. We have no guesses. All right, maybe it's not of interest, so we'll move on. So I've got we've just updated the robust product line, and let me do this for a quick second. I'm going to put my face on here, and let me do this for 1 second. I'll put that back there, and I'm going to just show the website for a quick second. We have a banner up there now. I just kind of put up the other day. Somebody reminded me gently that Robust currently has a tax day sale, if you will, 10% off their tools and stuff. So I neglected to catch that in my emails from Brent, but we've added that. So save to 10% on Robust tools until April 30th. Nice, Glenn. I love it. So Michael was saying it's a cool seahorse in the bottom of that bowl. Was there really? I didn't. Maybe you're seeing things that I don't see. Okay, yeah, I kind of see that. All right, he makes a point. There is a little bit of a dark shadow line that looks a little bit like a seahorse. But what's that seahorse filled with? And I like the next answer that I think Glenn said, peanut butter. That might be a good thing if I had Reese's Pieces in there. So Tony guessed coffee grounds, no, and no to the peanut butter. And David Perez, silly putty, no, not silly putty. So we will take all comers in asking what that might be. Ian is suggesting crushed pink opal. No, but that's a good guess. That's something I might try on something like this. I've done a little bit of that with the opal inlay stuff. So good. Keep them coming. And Dave Pilata says this is a mortar. No, it's just a bowl. Nothing like that planned for that bowl. CA glue as a filler. No, Oren, no CA glue involved whatsoever. So I guess that kind of hints pretty heavily as what it is or is not. Anyway, so let me get to the web page here. So we've got Robust, save 10%. That is going to be automatically applied in the cart as you shop for stuff. So you can click on the Robust logo, and it should. I got to click there twice. Take you to the Robust page. All the stuff that's it doesn't show the sale prices here, but if you look through. So if I don't know if I can do this. Let me see if I can do this without screwing it up. Yeah, so I zoomed in a little bit. So you can see the products there, and the 10% will be taken off in the cart when you order. So, and I know my email came out today, only listing a few of them, but it's all the Robust tools. I think even the tool rests, which I don't think was originally part of the plan that Brent had for the sale. So, but it's more work for me to kind of categorize or decategorized that way. So anyway, there's multiple pages, and you can see what we've got new is some of the handled tools. So let's just take a look at that one. And so large skew with a handle. We've got a handle, so you can see a nice picture of it there, and it gets you a little bit of a view of it. That zoom on that Mac is just a bit too much. But I took some photos and tried to give you as much information as can, as well as the description down here, blade measurement, handle. Oh, let me zoom in on that, because that's probably what you guys maybe want to look more at. Blade width and thickness and length and handle length and overall length, and a little description. So take a look at those. We now have the full, I think, pretty much the full range of the robust turning tools. They've moved away from the Turner's Edge brand and just call them robust turning tools. So I've got a few selected here, but I wanted you to make sure you're aware that's there. So I'll just let me get back to me here, there, and go back to overhead and turn me off. So we've got a few of them. I just want to show a couple. So large round nose scraper, that's kind of pretty vanilla, but they've got this nitrided coating on it, and you can read more about that in the product page. I'll link it over to Brent's page that explains it all. But it's got black nitride, which is embedded into the metal, helps with the hardness, and then he's got the edges ground for you. So let's take a look at one of the double bevel tools, because that's really where it kind of comes into play. And I've got, I wanted to show mine. Do I have it over here? I think I do. I did. I don't. I really got to clean up some of my, oh, I do have it here. I was using it the other day. So this is the unhandled version of the large negative rake scraper. I'm just taking it off the handle here, so bear with me as I remove the handle, jerk it around for you. What you can see, though, is the top bevel is nitrided as well, and let me just zoom back in and show that a bit. But the bottom bevel is not, so you really don't want to touch this top bevel once you get it, because that'll remain hard. Once you start losing enough of that bevel, then you're going to have to grind it off. But this black, try and leave that only sharp on the bottom bevel, and that's really what I want to show there. So that's that one. Same thing for the the skews obviously is double bevel that you're sharpening. So, but the skews have a nice rounded heel and rounded corners on the toe side. So, so that is, and the curved skew is, a la Alan Lacer and Matt Monaco. So those are nice. We got the full range of those. That was the medium skew. We have the small skew as well. I wanted to bring that one out because that is a new one. So let me show you that in comparison to the medium. So there's the medium and the small, and then the large is even bigger. It's about an inch thick or inch wide. So the medium is 3/4 and the small is half. So yeah, let me move on. I want to show you, there's some other tools. Here's a very large spear scraper. It's nice and thick, heavy. This is 1 3/8 wide, 3/8 thick. So very nice. This is good for shear scraping on the outside vessels, either way, and whatever else you might want to use it for. The gouges are handled and unhandled. Here is the 1/2-inch spindle gouge, or detail gouge as they call them. So compare that flute to the bowl gouges. All the bowl gouges are parabolic flute, and I don't know if I can do this much very well on this camera, but we'll see if I can zoom in on that. Let me click there. There we go. So you can kind of see that it's a parabolic flute. If I roll that just ever so slightly, lighting isn't that great on that, but if I go the other way, Yeah, it's tough to see in this kind of scenario. Anyway, I'm spending way too much time on that. The parabolic flute is nice. I'm starting to like it. Well, I've had a Sorby, which was parabolic flute, but the Doug Thompson flutes, which are V-shaped and U-shaped, are a little different. So the parabolic flute helps with multiple kinds of grinds, I think, more so than some others. So let me just show you a couple of the handle tools just to see the handles and kind of get an idea there. So here's one of the, I gotta have to zoom out quite a ways and refocus, so bear with me. Here we go. And there we go. So we got a 3/8 bowl gouge here with a handle, the 12-inch handle, and a large negative rake scraper, just like my one that's unhandled, just for comparison sake, the same tool in a 16-inch handle. So nice rock hard maple handles. So if you like handle tools, that's where they're worth a look. Excuse me as I have a little belch. Sorry about that. We do have tool rests, not the whole selection, but we do have a variety of them. I brought just a few of them out here. Your standard tool rests, the comfort rest, the new shear scrape rest. We've got a few varieties of those. And then some of these bigger ones that are kind of, I guess, maybe a special purpose or unique in their design. So with this big sort of outside or inside bowl rest, it's nice because it's canted back this way, so it fits on that inside that curve of the bowl. So inside rest there is kind of nice to match that or mate with it. An outside rest is available, and so that would go on the outside, and again matching that bowl shape. Nice curvature. All the dimensions and stuff like that. There's a tool rest sort of dimension PDF document you can see on the website, and that will help you. Well, that just barely fits in there, doesn't it? That will help you kind of understand what size you need. They talk about, zoom in on that a little bit. Their part number scheme is relatively kind of knowable, I guess. Understandable. 12 inches. EC is exterior curve. LO is long. And then I don't think I have a standard dimension. So long, you'll find that dimension listed in the PDF document. Talks about dimensions, tells you exactly what it is, length and stuff like that. So, and then the other one I have is a box rest, something unique I hadn't. Well, I've got actually an old, not really a box rest, but another rest that looks like a box rest. So that is there. I won't take that out of the package. We'll move on. Look at some questions and see what else. But take a look at the range of products, and hopefully we have what you need. I basically am carrying tool rests that cover 60% of the sort of sales, your wants and needs. So I don't have everything. I had an inquiry the other day about a tool rest for a lathe. I forget what lathe it was now. That was a Jet 1642, and what was listed on that wasn't this. No, that was some other question. That was for the woodcut tool post. Anyway, somebody asked about robust tool rest, but the length wasn't right, and so he has to go and get a custom one. And Brent will do that. He'll make custom tool rests for you, at least post length and stuff like that. So check that out. If I don't have it, Robust has it, or one of the other dealers has it. The other thing that they sell, and I kind of neglected to talk about too much, is this safety drive. and a live center. Didn't bring a live center out with me, but this safety drive is something I use quite a bit. I got an email from a gentleman yesterday, or maybe this morning, talking about how much he likes this thing. And one of the things he's done with it is put cup centers and stuff like that on it. So if I pull out, I've got one of these rubber chucky things. They thread on there because they're 3/4 by 10. The same thread that's on the tailstock live center. So you can make cup chucks for this guy. It is threaded in the back end. I think it's 3/8 16 thread. So I don't have a drawbar for a 3/8 16, but you could put this through the headstock, put a drawbar on the other side, and that won't come out. And then use this as a, you can put a faceplate on there or whatever, or some other adapter. I've got. I wouldn't do that. That wouldn't make sense. Anyway, he was talking about he uses this for jam chucks. So he's got a bunch of jam chucks made with a 3/4 thread, either using a nut or just tapping the wood. And I have some cup centers I use for making spheres that I could mount on this. I'll have to think about that. Of course, I don't have 3/8 16 drawbar. My drawbar is 1/4 20. So anyway, so look at those as well. That's my own. I got to put that back in the thing there. So let me put this on for a quick second. You can kind of see the shop. I'm just going to move this thing out of the way, and we will get a little chunk of wood and try and figure out what we're going to do today. Put that over there. I didn't even sharpen my tools today, this morning. So we'll see how far we get with the tools I have laying about. All right. Let's get back to maybe this. Why is that off? Tail stock. Wide shot work. That one works. I think I have to reboot this one camera. Oops. Bear with me a second. There we go. That was weird. I don't know why that happened, but I think I know. I had to reboot the system. So that is out of focus badly. So let me try and focus that. And that's it's another feature I should have tried. I tell you. Okay. There's just I was taking product photography out here, and so I set the camera to product photography. Cindy and I have been talking about this a lot too. Anyway, I have certain settings on it I have to change back. Let me get back to good question. The Venetian artisan asked, what type of steel? So the robust tools, the gouges, the bowl gouges, spindle gouges are M2. Most of the flat bar stock products are M42. So the negative rake scraper, the bowl scraper, the spear point scraper, and I believe the skews are M42. So, and the other turning gouges, spindle gouges, bowl gouges are M2. So that should be listed on the website. If it's not, send me an email. I've had plenty of corrections to my website based on customer feedback. So let's see. I recently purchased a robust 3/8 gouge from you. I really like it. Good. Well, thanks. Glad you like it, David. So well done. High-speed steel or M42. So yeah. M2 is a high-speed steel. M42 is a high-speed steel. Both work very well. JPN company, I think those are M42 nitride coated. Yep. And it's kind of a different nitriding process. Read the Robust website. I link to it on all the product pages, and understand a bit more about it if you wish. I don't know enough about it. Yes, Peter is on. Yep, Peter is on the money. And Ian Coates, milliput as filler. No. Good question. Good guess though. So thank you. Peter's coming back. Some are M42, not sure why. Robust detailed description. Yeah. I think it's material availability and what's in round stock and what's in flat stock. I believe that is probably the supply chain. question. So I don't know for sure. That's a question for Brent, but he made the decision. I will say, let me take a look at one thing, because this was one thing that kind of, no, I don't have it here, so never mind. I was going to say something else about one of the other tools I didn't bring out, but never mind. Okay, so we are looking at, this camera is not on the right subject. Let's get it down there. And let's look at a piece of wood. And let me see if this one is that. That's good. And then we'll look at overhead. And let me just focus that. Actually, it's going to be up here, so we focus there. All right, so we have this little chunk of ash, I believe it is, that we're going to throw on the lathe. We'll put a tenon on it, and then we'll put tenons or recesses all over it and do some multi-axis turning. So why am I wanting to do that? Just because it's kind of intriguing to me at this point. So yeah, let's start. Between centers. So let's get my live center out, and my drive center. I might as well use that robust safety center. You can't quite see that. So there's the two there. I'm just going to kind of guess at, I've got a center mark there on this one already, and none on this side. So which side do I want to be the bottom? Well, probably this side. I got some rotten stuff that'll go away, or might add some character. So we'll get that there, and then just see how that works. Just kind of seeing where it sits on my knuckle here to see if it's kind of concentric. And that looks pretty darn close. That's the high spot there. That'll go away. So, all right, that looks good. Tighten that up. Bring the banjo over. Gonna get my monitor a little bit out of the way. All right, first thing to do, we got to round this over. And I'm going to have to go behind me and grab a tool, which this may happen a lot today, because looking in my drawers behind me, behind this is a green screen, as my tool chest. All right, face shield. I've got a big what do you call them? Roughing gouge. And we'll just get this thing around. So power, speed down, power on. That's turning okay. Just make sure that's in there. Locked down. Banjo's locked down. Tool rest locked down. All right, we're good to go. I think I might be scratching my audio. We'll get this up to speed, and we'll just round this out. Really don't need to, but for what I'm doing, but we will do it nonetheless. All right. So there's one of the features. Let me do that again. There's one of the features of this safety drive center. This lathe is still spinning right there, but because it's a cup center, let me just stop and do that. I can smell it burning a little bit there because I had held it a little bit too long, but let me just pull this out and we'll take a look. So what it's done is just spun on that cup and not caused they call it a safety drive center, because you get a jam like that, you're not going to throw the piece off. You're just going to stop and spin in place on this cup center. I don't want to touch that; it's going to be hot. So that was a good sort of unintentional but well planned, if that's a possibility, sort of feature demonstration. So let's put that back in, and face shield down, and we'll start back up. I'm turning about 1800 RPM here. And I'll take this edge off over here. Still not round. Really don't need to be completely round, but close enough for what I want to do. We got a little bit of a flat here, that's fine. And we got a little bit of this figure rot in here, and that's fine. What I'm planning to do, I think I got a 3-inch, oh, that's going to be good, a 3-inch chuck here. So we'll put it in that guy. Let me get a tool to dimension that with. Let's use, well, that's pretty wicked. Let's use that one. I've got a, this is actually a Thompson tool. It's a 3/8 inch spindle gouge. I got really wicked point on it. I don't know why. I'm doing something sometime. But let's just see if we can't get a, I'm actually going to need another kind of tool, just kind of fix up the most of the tenon on the bottom. So I got a little 3/8 bowl gouge, ground 40/40. That spindle gouge is probably 35-degree, very pointy thing. So let me see if I've got any other. I'm just going to focus something else here for a second. Wide view, that looks all right. All right, maybe just down a little bit and over, and that's not going to be that wide. There we go. It's going to back out. That's that focus assist, folks. Helps you zoom in as you focus. Not something I need to do in a live stream, but there you go. Okay, so this is end grain, or grain parallel with the lathe. So cutting in that way is going to be my best bet. And so we will do that on the end, a little skate back. Not too concerned. I'm just going to clean off this whole end. We'll use that skate back as a place to lean our gouge. We'll stop. See how that looks. And that looks to be about 3, just under. So now this is where the pointy gouge comes in. I'm going to, let me put picture in picture up. Auto. We'll zoom that in. And maybe just move it over a touch. And that is a little off, isn't it? That'll work. That'll work. All right, so we're going to make a little dovetail right in here. So I've got this pointy gouge. Just going to rotate in and scrape the bottom. Turn that point right in. Get a nice interface between the shoulder there. There goes my phone over there. Ignore that. So that looks pretty good. I just want to get down in that corner, make sure it's nice and flat. Looks good. I think it looks good. I'm not too concerned. All right. Now let's put that in a chuck. Do I need to do that now? I've got a chucking point. Yeah, let's just go ahead and I'll show you the step that I'm not going to complete today. But, I need to pull out that drive center. That's going to knock out bar because I pushed that in pretty good. Here we go. Tight quarters here. There we go. All right, so there's that safety drive center. Where are you, camera? Back here. So that'll go back in its spot there. We've got a large chuck here. This is one of these Axminster chucks with some, I don't know if they call them tower jaws or if they're called shark jaws. I'm not sure. But they're kind of handy. Let me go overhead. That's the wrong position. There we go. I could have gone a little smaller on that tenon, but that'll work. A little smaller in diameter would have been fine. But what we can do here is just true it up, and you have access to this end now. You can hollow it out. I will probably hollow it out later just because I don't want to bother doing that right now on a live stream. Just want to show you a couple of things that I go about doing. I'm going to just true this up a little bit. Let's just see how that runs. Pretty good. So I'll just take my roughing gouge and just rough it up. Not rough it up, smooth it out. Smooth it out. Let's see. That's moving kind of herky-jerky now. Oh, I see. That came off, so bear with me a second as I set up another camera. Not really the other camera, it's just the overhead slide. I think that's as far as I'm going to need. There, much smoother movements. All right. So rubbing that bevel. I could probably raise my rest and turn up the lathe speed a little bit if I wanted. Still that flat area there, which is actually going to play to my advantage here shortly. This little flat area could be even bigger. But what we'll do now is we're gonna let me just actually clean that off while I'm here. And where's that little gouge? Bouncy. Picture in picture. Wide, that'll do. Since I do plan to I don't have a skew out here. I have a parting tool. No, I don't have a parting tool out. What the heck was I doing out here before? I have no tools. It's crazy. I was experimenting with stuff. So I need that. Oh, let's use this little pointy one. So I just want to get a center point. That's what I'm trying to get to. There we go. Just a drill center. And I could drill with this tool. That might be an idea too, but I don't want to take the time. But I want to have that point so I can get back to it. And that was not well planned, Todd. Wrong way. Sorry. So I got a center point now, and I'm realizing that this piece might have a few cracks that I don't want to deal with, but we've got a good. Oh, yeah, of course. Of course. Let's take a closer look here for a second. We've got a crack here that seems pretty superficial, but this is the one I'm worried about. I don't know how deep that goes. I think I might stick this back in and take a few more inches off, or another half inch or something off the end, and see if that goes away more. There's a crack there. That's that piece right there. So a lot of this may go away. That crack and that crack meet right up here. So that'll go away. That's like a big splinter. This crack here goes across this way. So that means this whole flat area is probably going to peel off. So yeah, let's do some more maintenance on the piece before we commit to turning anything else. This is part of sort of the thing that everybody has to kind of take into consideration when they stick a piece of wood on the lathe. Is it worth your time? And right now, this is I'll leave that there. This is becoming more and more like maybe not, but we'll see. I'm going to take a few more off here. Not that one. Yeah, let's leave it there. You can see that crack. We'll see if that crack goes away. We've taken a few passes. Let's see what's happened. Still a crack there. This side's pretty much gone, so that's good. So we're down to there. I think maybe this is tied in with this rotten knot. Let's take one more depth pass. Still there at this point. So how deep does that go? Let me do this now. Let's target that to turn that away. So that's what we want to do. And by turn that away, I'm going to do that on a different axis. So I think I'm okay with the rest of this here. I'm going to leave it like this. I got my center point. I can drill that out and leave that as a lip or a rim. All right, so now I want to kind of replicate. So I'm trying to get this chuck off. What did I do here? I put it between that one and this one. So getting the safety drive center out again. Let me go. Not that one. Overhead. Wrong button. There we go. All right. So back to drive center and tailstock. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it this way and create some areas where I can grip and put in the chuck and create some turning texture or turning features. So where do we want to grip this thing? So here's the chunk we want to get rid of. So we want actually to be able to turn that away. So I may end up making a tenon here, down in here somewhere. We'll get rid of most of that. So let's put a tenon here and maybe another one down here. Right, so let's start with this one. We'll flatten this out. We'll put a tenon. We'll see how this comes out. So I'm going to go kind of halfway in the middle of the width of the piece, and maybe just a little slightly offset. So this is where the flat that I had. I was actually going to use that for a flat already, but since we got to take this rotten side out, I need to put the tenon on this side, not on this side. So I'm going to line that up about where I want that tenon on this side. And then I'm going to rotate that and make sure I'm kind of square through the center of the piece. Let me get my helmet off here for a second. So I'm going to crank this out a little. In fact, I'll loosen my tailstock off and just give me a bit more breathing room down here. And let's see, we're not quite lined up there. If I put the ruler across that, I look down between the center points. I'm a little off center, so I think I need to move this a little bit to there. And I also want to check how well parallel I am here. I'm not quite, so I'm going to tip this a bit more this way. Not that it's really critical in this turning that I'm doing to make that place, but that's pretty close, and that's pretty close to lined up in the center. So I'm happy with that spot there. Now this is off center, so it's gonna whip around a little bit. So you want to make sure that it's not going to move. And there's a few questions. Let's see. Oh, Tracy gassed pine tar, Play-Doh. No, none of those. Well done though on the gas. Joining late. So John, good to have you here. So that was a few minutes ago. And Tom asks, what a contrast to the Elio drive. Yeah, so exactly. So Elio drive's got 3 pins and it's going to hold dramatically well. So in those times you want, if you're doing spindle work and you are worried about catches, it's actually a great teaching aid, this safety drive center too, because if you got beginners there and they get a catch, it's usually no harm, no foul. All right, so we have now a way to kind of create a tenon in there. How big of a tenon do we need? I have a chuck over here. I got this Axminster. This is the SK100 with the O'Donnell jaws, and in it I've put this medium set of jaws. So this is a kind of a 3-in-1 kit, and so I'm going to close this down to kind of see what size my tenon is, what size my recess might be if I do a recess. So there's the jaws, and diameter wise we're looking at 1 inch and 5/8, or let's do millimeters, 45 millimeters on a tenon. On a recess, on a tenon we're down to 30 millimeters, or 1 1/8 thereabouts. So that's what I'm targeting, either a tenon or a recess. And I can go smaller with a recess using the next set of jaw inserts. This will get me down to 25 millimeters, I believe. My little cheat sheet here. 25 millimeters on a tenon and 32 on a recess with the small ones. So there you go. So that's what we're targeting, is to use that chuck for holding these things. In fact, I think I used that chuck to hold this safety drive center, my last piece of work. All right, so let's create a tenon here. So I'm going to create a, it's going to be a little bit difficult with measuring this. It's going to be stop and check more than anything. I've got these guys set up for that tenon size. So I'm right about there. So maybe there. So I'm just going to mark with a pencil a bit darker where I want that tenon to be. Can't see that, can you? Right there. It's kind of hard to mark around the piece when it's not flat, but we kind of get our marks generally in place, and we stop and check. So speed all the way down, important. You saw me turn that knob down here, then we turn it on, and then we see how it runs slowly. We double check our banjo, our tool rest clamp, our tailstock clamp. Everything's running. It's got a little bit of a bounce to it. You can see we get past that, go a little faster. 1400 RPM. Let's start there. And I'm going to just see where this is bouncing, dragging my bevel back till it stops. Oops, I wrote off that cut. We'll stop there. What we got to realize is that this is a round surface, and so if we look, that is just slightly out of focus, isn't it, folks? That's better. And let me take that up a little bit. Sorry about that. Let me go overhead Being a round surface, it's getting a flat here and a flat there, but not on the sides here and here. So we have to go relatively deep, if you will, and then flatten this top out maybe a little bit to get a good tenon. I actually prefer recesses here, and we'll do a recess as well. But for first, I wanted to do a tenon to kind of show that methodology. Plus, I also want to get rid of this rotten wood, and let's take a closer look. If we look at the end view, you can see that this crack doesn't come down this way. That's not in focus. Sorry, folks, I'm struggling here a little bit with focus and this way this camera's set up. There we go. All right. Wait for a second, but you can see there's no crack down in here where it comes up here. So I think I'm okay. Through this looks like solid wood down in here. And so we'll carry on. Power on. I typically stand back out of the way when I hit that button. I wish I had a remote switch over on this side. That's something maybe I'll invest in at some point. So I have to take this down to the center because I know I need more depth out here. And I'm kind of purposely concaving this a little bit this way because I don't want to waste this wood up here necessarily that much. I don't know yet. This is sculptural, so we'll kind of figure that out. Let's see how close we are. We still got a ways to go, so let's push that in and get that down to the required tenon dimension. Stop and check. And a bit more. Now, this is the funny thing. This is now a cross grain turning, right? So this is face grain turning. So different rules apply or guidelines for turning or cutting wood. So that's pretty close to the 40, I don't even know now. 30 millimeters we needed for the tenon. And I'll get that funky spear point one, and we'll go and create a tenon, a dovetail. Turn the point in, and then turn it so I can scrape with the wing. I want a flat right around that tenon. And I've got one. I got a tenon all the way around, but my fear is it's too tall. These jaws here are not very deep. They are, in fact, 4, maybe 5 millimeters at the most, 5 millimeters. And so this is right at 5. So I'm going to clean up this top, make sure it fits in the jaws. All right. That's tenon 1 done, right? So let's move this off to a different axis. So we got a place to hold this now, and we can turn whatever feature we want on this side. Let's put one down here, and let's make that maybe a recess. We're getting close to losing our tenon up here, so this may have to shrink down to a smaller tenon, but we'll kind of figure that out. So I'm going to place this on the tailstock side first to kind of place out where my recess might be, and that looks probably, and I got to think my recess is going to have to be bigger than this for this chuck, but I can always change my I'm measuring my recess dimension for this chuck with this set of jaws, which is now that big, which is 44 millimeters, was 30 for the tenon, that's 44. Can we fit a recess in there? Probably not, right? So let's put a recess on the other side just to show that, and we'll do that. So we'll put a recess in here. So that means we're grabbing maybe kind of right about there on that guy. We could do it anywhere we want. In fact, I probably will at some point do multiple recesses and stuff like that. So let's wind this in. That's a bit too much quill. I can move the tailstock in. And I will start with a guess right about there. I started that guess looking at this to see how parallel that was, or perpendicular to the lathe bed. And it's a little off, so oops. Leave that in there. And hold that there. That's a bit too much. Went too much the opposite way. That looks pretty good in terms of that. Doesn't necessarily have to be that way, but it kind of has to be that way this way, because if I put this off way off to the side, then I'm really not holding a lot. So I want to be in line with the piece center to center, more so than this way perpendicular. Does that make sense? So that looks pretty much in line. Use my ruler across there. Looks like we're in line with the center point and the pins, the center pins. So, and we're pretty well perpendicular. So let's lock down the tailstock, crank in the handle, embed those guys, and we will do a recess on this side just to show that we can do one. How do we do a recess? Well, I've seen this many times on maybe my demos. It's a homemade tool, easy to make one. Get a square-ended scraper and cut out this shape. You can see in the marker here, that's the shape I would cut out and then sharpen it. A single bevel tool. You can use a top edge if you want, but this is going to be how we dive in and create a recess. And so I'm up a little too high. I want to cut at center with the handle up just a little bit, not down, but up, and cut that recess in there. This allows me to get access close to the live center tailstock and be able to create a recess in there. So let's start that up, speed all the way down. Put that in there. Can I zoom that any? Let's see. I didn't turn. Oh, I did put that on, but that's probably dead. Yeah. To do that manually, and I have to focus that again. Sorry, folks. This is great practice for me for my IRDs. So bear with me as I kind of get this set up. There we go. That'll kind of flash back out here in a second. Transition, picture in picture. There we go. All right. So now kind of standing sort of in front of the turning or in line with it. So power down, power on, turn the speed up, double check everything. We got a bit of wobble. We're going too slow. So we get past that wobble till it steadies out. See how much faster we can go. Still not bouncing. So 1400 RPM. We'll start there. Tool on the tool rest, approach, and just kind of dig in. Get nice and close to that. We're going to also have to flatten this guy out a little bit to get a flat area all the way around. Let's see how that looks. So we've got flat up here, but not over here yet. And how are we doing on dimension? So we're kind of halfway between those two for the width. And you can't see that because my hand's in the way. We're about halfway between those two cuts to get the recess width. So we'll flatten a bit more. Before I do that, I'm going to go halfway between those two cuts, kind of dig in a little bit, kind of figure out if I'm close to my required depth for my tenon, or my recess, sorry. And just back and forth with this tool, and then pulling it into that recess with that little hook gives me my dovetail. Calipers, I'll do it this way. Not quite wide enough, so a little bit deeper, but we've got flat all the way around. We've got tenon or dovetail area all the way around pretty much, or we'll have when we finish this guy, I think. Let's pull it out a bit wider, a little bit deeper. Stop there. Oh, even a bit wider yet. So I'll bite into this way maybe. All right. We can always try and see if that's going to fit. So let's do that just to see. I think we're pretty darn close. We'll take a look here. Pull this out of the way. Bring our chuck in, and we fit in there quite well. I don't know what I measured wrong, but I measured quite wrong. I'll have to check that caliper. Oh, why is that so far out? Must have moved on me, or I did something wrong. But that's more like the size. But will this hold? I think it will. So let's practice. Let me just post it up here, put it in there, and open up these jaws so I can find that key opening. I'm going to want to spin this just a little bit. All right. So we've got it in there. What I am seeing is that I'm good all the way around. I've got contact. I've got no contact with the chuck body here. I've got good grip. There's a bit of the jaw sticking out there, but I think that's going to be okay. It's only a small bit. Otherwise, the rest of the jaws are in there. So we could safely turn that and turn some feature over there. So why don't we do that, and we'll finish this guy up. So we'll do one turning with that chuck, and then we'll call it a day. But for this piece, let's see. For this piece, I had probably 6 or 7 different recesses. I had a recess over here. I had a recess here and here for this side, or here and here for this side. I can't remember. Here and here for this side. And the rest of them, wherever there were recesses, I carved away with a power carving tool. So I'd say more than half was done on the lathe, and the other 40% was done carving out the rest of the recesses. So yeah, there's a lot of power carving involved if you're doing something like this as well. So I got my knockout bar still in there. That's not good. All right. All right, so where are we cutting? Let's we're going to be cutting right at that center, I think. So power all the way down, pull it on. I'm just going to mark it where we see that center. And there it is. Let me move that down just a little bit. That kind of gives us an idea. So if we make a hole any bigger than that, we're going to destroy our tenon. So I should have offset this recess over a bit more, but we will do a small dimple here. Maybe we'll maybe I won't. I don't know what. Yeah, I'll just probably drill. Maybe I'll just kind of drill in with the gouge. So not a whole lot I can do here on this particular one. I kind of misplaced it. We'll pull that on, give it the speed, and bowl gouge. This is just like bowl turning now. And I think I'm coming out to my tenon right there. So, but you kind of get the idea. I think I could probably get away with widening this out and using most of that tenon. So I'll probably give that a shot. My tailstock live center is right in my elbow. Back that off. And I'll make this hole a little bit wider, and we'll see how well it grips with the I found with that's a 40-40 gouge with my 55-degree swept back wing gouge. I have this little sort of motion that I've been using to do a lot of this with, which is basically riding that bevel in this orientation to scrape out and cut back in. So it's kind of a weird sort of way to use it, but that's not the way I used it. I'll just clean that up. Go over, we'll scrape out and ride back in. The tool rest is fine. There we go. Just back and forth with the nose of the tool. Drilling a little bit. And then you can go in and use a scraper, whatever you want. But that's not bad. That's a nice thing, a nice sort of carving hole, if you will. And we've only cut off a small corner of our tenon. I think we can still hold with that. So, yeah. Let's see how well that holds on that other side. Again, this is the kind of thing you need to assess your own risk, get comfortable with what you're doing, what you're able to do on the lathe. When I'm standing here, and maybe I'll show this, I'm standing back of the lathe quite a ways. So let me, I do not like this key. It does not like me. There we go. And I'm seeing where that gap is and putting that gap. Let me go back to overhead. I'm putting that gap across those jaws. So we've got that where there's no tenon there. You can't really see it. It's hard to see. But where that flat is and where that hole is, the jaws are covering that. It's grabbing on all of the other sides. So I'm confident in that grip, even though it's only a partial tenon. So now we can do the same on the other side. One of the other things that I wanted to show in this camera is the turnings here. And I'm standing back here, and when I'm turning, this thing is either going to go that direction or that direction, but not at me. And if I have my tool rest kind of open to this side where it still clears, then the most logical progression for it is either in this area, and this is kind of directing it that way. So if stuff does go sideways, that's what's going to happen. So power all the way down. Let's go overhead and slide that back. Oops, wrong way. And see, is that going to be all right? So now we are cutting. Let's just find out where we're cutting. Power's on. Phase mask down. So kind of like that, we're getting into the territory of this recess. We've already used this recess though, so that's okay. We can turn it away and not be bothered with it. But before I do any more on this piece, I would go through and create as many center points as I can, creating either tenons or recesses all over the piece as much as I can get, and then go through and turn. And I may not be able to use all of them because maybe I end up turning them away, but it gives me a choice at that point. So that's kind of where I'm going to leave that today. So let me did I remind everybody? I didn't play all these banners. Okay, this one I forgot to put up. Robust tools on sale again. So take a look at those, and if you're looking for a gouge or one of the other tools, shop the deal. It'll be discounted in the cart when you add it there, so not a problem. And let's see. I think that's about it. Let me go back here, turn that off, and yeah. So anyway, a little bit of a departure of some other stuff I do, but this multi-axis turning stuff has kind of just intrigued me lately with some different thoughts and ideas. You saw the other piece, and I'm hoping to do a sort of another piece like that. I don't know whether I'll use this chunk of wood or not. Ash is a little hard to carve, and so there is a bit of carving involved. I got some Bradford pear down there. I gotta mill up. So yeah, hopefully that was enjoyable. You saw some tools, you saw some turning, you saw some ideas on offset turning using chucks or tenons and recesses, how to get them, what to look out for. Number one to look out for is your safety. So do this hobby with knowledge going in. If you don't have that knowledge, ask and learn before you attempt. So hopefully you all have a great weekend. We plan to have one ourselves. We have I'm busy tomorrow. Cindy's got a sharing session, so if you haven't been to one of Cindy's sharing sessions, I think it goes off at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Go to Cindy's website, sign up to her newsletter, and you can get notified for that sharing session. It's an hour-long session, free Zoom meeting. Cameras are optional, but if you got something to share, bring it, and we'll spotlight you. You can talk about it, and you can learn from others, ask questions of others. There'll be lots of links in the chat, maybe for different things, different products, different turnings people do. Check that out. That'll be fun tomorrow. And then Sunday, I've got some work to do. So Y'all have a great weekend. Everybody take care. Todd saying good afternoon, good night to everybody. Um, thank you all. Appreciate it. As usual, a great demo showing how you correct real life issues. Yes, yeah, absolutely. As it is real life. This is not fake. It's not fake. I screw up just like everybody else. Okay, so Lance, Tracy, Michael, John, Cindy, everybody that's saying thank you. Thanks very much. Mary Alice, good to have you here. And we'll all see you next time. 2 weeks. 1 week for Cindy, 2 weeks for me. Bye, y'all.